This video is on mixed expressions and complex fractions. A mixed expression is very similar to a mixed number, such as 1 3/5. Just as a mixed number, such as 1 3/5, is the sum of the whole number part, which is 1, and the fractional part, which is 3/5, so too is a mixed expression, such as 2x plus 3 over x plus 6, the sum of the whole part, which is 2x, which is a monomial, and a fractional part, 3 over x plus 6, which is a rational expression. To simplify a mixed expression is to write it as a rational expression, as one fraction with a common denominator. It's very similar to taking a mixed number and writing it as an improper fraction. So for example, if I were to take 1 3/5 and write it as an improper fraction, I would take the denominator, multiply it by the whole number part, and then add it to the numerator, which would give me 8/5. This is really basically the same as saying, let's write 1 as 5 over 5, and then we're adding to that 3 over 5. So the whole number part is 5 over 5, the fractional part is 3 over 5, and that's the same as 8 over 5. We can do the same thing with rational expressions. It just looks a little more complicated. So let's try an example here. So I need to write 5y plus 6y over 4y plus 8 as a rational expression. So I'm going to take 4y plus 8 and multiply it by 5y, add that to 6y, and then write that over 4y plus 8. It's kind of the same thing that we did with 1 3/5. The denominator times the whole number part added to the numerator over the same denominator. So this is going to give me 20y squared plus 40y plus 6y over 4y plus 8, or 20y squared plus 46y over 4y plus 8. And I'm noticing that I can take a common factor out of both the numerator and the denominator. In the numerator I can factor out a 2, and that's going to leave me 10y squared plus 23y. The denominator I can factor out a 4, and that's going to leave me with a y plus 2. And I have a common factor of 2 on the top and the bottom. So my final answer would be 10y squared plus 23y over 2 times the quantity y plus 2. Or you could multiply that out. So it's basically the same thing as saying I'm going to take 5y and multiply both the top and the bottom of that 5y over 1 by the denominator 4y plus 8. A complex fraction is a rational expression that has a rational expression in the numerator and a rational expression in the denominator. It is basically a fraction that has fractions within it. The numerator is a fraction, the denominator is a fraction. Recall that a fraction bar means division. So to simplify a complex fraction, we're simply going to divide the numerator and the denominator as you would divide two fractions. So let's take a look at an example here. It's a little hard to see, but we do have a big fraction bar right through the middle right here. Okay, so I have x plus 3 over x squared plus x minus 6 divided by x squared plus 4x plus 3 over x squared plus 6x plus 9. First thing I need to do is factor everything. So I have x plus 3 over, and this is going to factor into x plus 3 times x minus 2. And that's going to be divided by x plus 3 times x plus 1. And that's going to factor into x plus 3 squared, because that's a perfect square trinomial. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is write it as a division. Now it's like basically dividing two rational expressions. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of the second. And I think this one's going to be fun because I think I'm seeing a lot of things that are going to cancel out. It's kind of satisfying when you can cancel out a lot of factors. Okay, so now I have it written as a multiplication problem, and I can cancel an x plus 3 with one x plus 3 here. I can cancel this x plus 3 with that x plus 3. Well, I guess it wasn't quite as much as I had thought, but we're left with an x plus 3 over x minus 2 times x plus 1. You can multiply out the denominator if you like, or you can leave it that way. So here are a couple practice problems I'd like for you to try. One of each, a rational expression and a complex fraction. So go ahead and stop the video and try these two problems in your math journal. Okay, let's take a look at this first one. We need to write the expression, the mixed expression, n squared plus n minus 1 over n plus 4 as a rational expression. So I'm going to take my denominator and multiply it by my numerator. Or I'm sorry, not by my denominator times the whole number part, times the monomial, and then add to that the numerator, and that's over the whole denominator. If that's a little confusing, let me show you. There's another way to do it. So if we have n squared over 1, and I need to add to that n minus 1 over n plus 4. My common denominator would be n plus 4, so I'd basically multiply the denominators by numerator and denominator by an n plus 4. That's basically what I'm doing here. And then on the top I would end up with n squared times n plus 4 plus n minus 1 all over n plus 4, and you can see that's exactly the same thing that we got down here. Okay, the denominator times the whole part plus the numerator over the whole denominator. So let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit. So n squared times n gives me n cubed plus 4n squared plus n minus 1 over n plus 4. And I can't factor it. I don't think I can factor the numerator, so that's what it is right there. That's our rational expression. And our last example here is a complex fraction. So I am going to rewrite this as a division problem while factoring all the parts that I can. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and, since I have to divide by x squared minus 9 over x plus 1, I'm going to go ahead and multiply by the reciprocal. So the denominator becomes a numerator, and I will factor this x plus 3 times x minus 3. And now I can cancel out common factors. And on the top, it looks like I have nothing, but I actually have a 1 up there, times x plus 2 times x plus 3. So in this video, we took a look at mixed expressions and complex fractions. Turning a mixed expression into a rational expression is a lot like turning a mixed number fraction into an improper fraction. And a complex fraction is just a fraction that has a fraction in the numerator and a fraction in the denominator. Remember that the fraction bar means division, so it basically turns into a division problem.